Hi, welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to talk about how to buy a motorcycle in the US as a foreigner. Okay? Um so in October of 2021, I took a one-way flight from Singapore all the way to Los Angeles. The very next day, I bought my bike back over here. Ta-da! Okay, but it was like super stressful. Like, okay, so before that, I had to do a lot of research, right? Like trying to find out what bike to get and if they have like availability. And that wasn't like so simple because I was like in Singapore, and to like contact the dealers in Los Angeles, oh, that was like a little bit difficult. So I was like emailing like many of them, okay? And it's like most of them were like telling me, hey, riding season's coming to an end. It's like coming towards the winter, so we are having like really low availability for the Yamaha MT-03. That was like, shit, oh crap, oh no, everything is like getting sold out. And I finally found like this dealer called Del Amo Redondo Motorsports, and the lady that was emailing said that they have one Yamaha MT-03 left. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, shit, could you please help me like reserve it, because like I'm going down like next week or something. It was like a week before I was emailing them. And she was like, I'm so sorry, but this is like impossible, we cannot reserve it. So can you like even like imagine the anxiety I had? Because after emailing all of the dealers, like which was like a lot, like nobody had availability for the Yamaha MT-03, and that was like the only dealer left with one Yamaha MT-03, and I couldn't reserve it. So if I go there and I can't get my bike back, like what's gonna happen? Because after doing all the research, I just felt like the Yamaha MT-03 was the one for me. Yeah, so I decided to like just give it a shot, so took the flight, landed at night in Los Angeles at about, I think, pretty late, I can't remember. Reached the Airbnb about 10-11. The very next day I went to the dealership. Luckily I had Jesse with me. Jesse was a guy who was staying at the Airbnb, and he drove me over there, and he was like super helpful. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, without him, like life would have been like, a little bit harder. So he was there with me at the dealership, and when I went over there, the person was like saying, we don't have the Yamaha MT-03 anymore. And I was like looking at the guy. It's like, but I just emailed the lady and she said that you guys still have it. And he was like, okay, like give me a moment, let me check. So during the time where he was checking whether the Yamaha MT-03 was available, my heart was like going I didn't film anything because at that time I was like scared to film, and that situation was just too stressful for me to like do even anything. I was just focused on getting the bike, okay? So he was checking, and I was also emailing the lady that I was talking to, and she was telling me like, hey, we do have it. But that's a person that's emailing, and then this guy who I'm looking at physically in front of me is telling me like, hey, we don't have it. So I got really confused. But then after a while, after checking everything, he was like, yeah, we do have it. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, oh, yes. So this is the bike that they had, the very last Yamaha MT-03 in like Los Angeles. I was like, great. Okay, so what do I need to do right now to buy the bike? I want it under my name, and I'm a foreigner. I can't really remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure like whatever I had with me was like sufficient for me to get the bike. So obviously driver's license. I do not know if I showed my international driver's license. Okay. Just a fun fact. Okay. Because in Singapore there are like 3 levels of driver's license. One is like all the way up to like 200cc. The next level, oh doggy please. The next level is up to like 400cc. And the very last is 400cc and beyond. Yeah, so I only have the license that allows me to drive up to like 400 cc. But they told me that it doesn't matter in the US. Like if I wanted to get like a Yamaha MT-07, I could do it. If I wanted to get a Yamaha MT-09, I could do it. But of course, I didn't want to. I just wanted my Yamaha MT-03. It's sufficient for me, okay? But if you want to get something bigger than your license in Singapore, you can do it. Yes. Okay, so I think I gave them my license. What else? I do not know if I gave them my passport, but obviously you need a passport to get into the US anyway. So if they ask you for your passport, you should probably have it. What else? Oh, the most important thing is you need an address, okay? In the US, you must have an address. So you need to find a friend that is willing to like let you use the address for the DMV, okay, to send you the registration and the title and whatever they need to send you, like tags for the bike. For me, it's like I feel like really, really lucky. Usually I use couch surfing when I go to a new place, but because I didn't know how long I was going to be in the US, I decided to just book an Airbnb. So these people were like not couch surfers. Usually couch surfers are like super helpful, but the people at the Airbnb, they were so nice. So the host of the Airbnb, not the guy that I went with, he was like saying, hey, you could like just use my address. And also the guy that I went with, which was Jesse, was staying there long term, and he was like, yeah, just use the address of the Airbnb in Los Angeles, you'll be fine. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I used the address, and yeah, it worked. And then after that I had to pay for it. Not a problem, you could like just use your card, but remember to like increase the limit because this was like pretty expensive. I think it went all the way up after taxes or whatever to like 7,000 USD. Yeah. The retail price, the minimum retail price was like 4,500. But after adding the taxes in specifically California and the address that I was living in, the Airbnb address that I placed, it became 7,000-ish USD in total. I managed to pay for it with card and everything. Yeah. So that was like okay. Then they put it under my name. Okay, he gave me temporary license plate. It was like a paper. But they told me that it will be shipped over, like mailed over to the address. That's why the address is like super important. In like a couple of weeks. I can't remember how long it took, but I got it. The license plate, metal license plate over here, and my title and my registration. Yeah. So I got that, and then obviously to drive legally on the road, I needed like insurance, right? Okay, let me just tell you from the start, there is only one insurance company in the US that will insure a foreigner. Okay, this is because as a foreigner, you don't have a US driver's license. Okay, I'm going to stand up. I'm starting to cramp. Okay, if you do not have a US driver's license, you cannot get any other insurance except Progressive Insurance. I can 100% like guarantee that this information is true because I've tried. Okay, so just go ahead and use Progressive Insurance. It's like super simple. Just sign up for it for however long you're going to be in the US and you'll be fine. Oh, the kids are playing ball again. Okay, so yeah, Progressive Insurance. Okay, so I was fine with it, but here's where I kind of screwed up. Okay, because in California, you have to renew the registration every year. Okay, and that's a pain because like in other states, I can't remember which state, like sometimes you can renew it every 4 years. But it's because I landed in California, I bought the bike in California, so I need to renew the registration every year. So I screwed up really badly over here. I let the registration lapse. Oh, it's not because I let it lapse after a year. It's because I only paid for insurance up to the third month that I was riding in the US. And after the third month, without insurance, you kind of like lose like your registration on it. So they knew I didn't have insurance. So to keep the registration going, you need to keep like the insurance going as well. So that's why I let it lapse. Okay, and because I let it lapse, I had to pay a fine for the renewal of the registration online. And that was like stupid. Why did I do that? And Jessie had to help me again. I was like calling Jessie, hey, I need help. Okay, because I was like going on the Pan American Highway Forum, you know, where people have like traveled with their vehicle from like the north all the way to the south or south all the way to the north. And I was like asking people like, for those who have bought their bikes in the US, how do you keep the registration going? Some people were like telling me, hey, just do it the legal way, just pay for insurance and pay for the renewal of registration. But the problem is that because I don't have a US driver's license, I cannot get the registration like emailed to me. It can only be physically mailed to the address that I placed from the start. And that's like a major problem. Oh, everybody's so noisy right now. Yeah. And so with that comes a bit problem because, sorry, I'm just looking at the kids. Look at the kids, the gun. Okay. So I'm in Mexico, and obviously he can like just take a screenshot of a picture of the, not screenshot, he could just take a picture of the registration. But I feel like if I were to be like crossing the borders, okay, I'm going inside. Hold on. Okay, back to my chair. Even though it's still noisy, I can hear them, but it's better. Okay, so even though who can like take a picture of it, I feel like when I cross borders into Central America, they would want like the physical paper. So to do that, it's like I have to like get him to like mail it to wherever I was, and that was like a problem. The other option is like to doctor it, right? So people are like telling me, hey, go use Photoshop and like just change like the year. So the registration ends in like 2022. All I needed to do was like just like remove the 2 and add a 3. Yeah, so that gives me 1 more year. And the people at the borders wouldn't know it and just print it out on like good quality paper. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe. It crossed my mind, but I was like thinking, I kind of want to like do it the legal way, you know. But obviously to keep the registration going, I need like an ongoing insurance, and it's like, to me, kind of like wasteful. It's like useless because I'm not even riding in the US in the first place, right? So for me to buy insurance in the US just to keep the registration going, just to have this piece of paper, is such a waste of money. But after talking to Jessie, we're like trying to find like the cheapest like insurance possible, and it's still progressive because I cannot like, as a foreigner, like we can't use other insurance companies. So we found like the cheapest insurance for like the whole year. I think it came up to like 130 something, I can't remember, dollars per year. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, this is like not a lot of money to like keep the registration going and to like make me feel like comfortable, since it's like the legal route and I don't have to like do anything illegal like doctor it or anything. So it's like, okay, it's a reasonable amount. It's not like it's like $100 per month. It's like $100 over dollars for the whole year. So it's like, okay, let's do this. So after getting the insurance done, renewing the registration on the DMV, paying my fine for it, you're like, okay, we're going to send the tax, the new tax, and the new registration over to the address. Okay, then that's another problem, right? So they're being sent over to California, Los Angeles, and then I was like thinking, how can I get it over to me physically, because I'm in Mexico and I'm actually in Cuba at that time. So I was like talking to the host of the Airbnb, and Jesse wasn't living there anymore, so he kind of like, he could help me, but I think it would be like too troublesome. So I was like talking to the host directly, Mark, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna mail it over to an address in Mexico. So I gave him the address of Alejandro, which was the guy who was storing my bike when I was in Cuba. And the problem was, after like 1 month, the mail still didn't arrive. I was like, what the hell? Why? It was already so hard getting it. And now it's like lost. And even until today, I think 3 months later, it's still lost. It still has not arrived. I was like, shit, why this sucks, okay? Now it's like thinking, oh no, what can I do? Yeah. So I went online to see if like they could like email me the registration, but because I don't have a US driver's license, I don't have that option. Oh, and I was like, crap. So I had to like pay like another fee again to for like the registration papers. So I paid again, I think like $20 over to get it mailed. But this time around, I'm like way more careful, because the first time when he sent it, I think was like through standard mail. There wasn't like tracking. This time around, I got like DHL. Okay, I paid a lot of money for DHL. I think like 60 over USD or 70 over USD to go over to the house to pick up the papers and the tags, okay, and get it mailed over to Cancun after I came back from Cuba. And after waiting, they were late. They said that it was going to arrive on this date, but then it took like a few more days, like I think at least a week more, or maybe 5 days more before it arrived. It was like so nerve-wracking, but I finally got it. Yeah. So now I have it with me. I made copies of it just in case if I need to give it over to officials at borders. And I'm happy, but obviously this is all going to happen again in October of next year, October 2023. I still have time, but now I know the whole process. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, summary, like quick summary of what you need to do. I know I talk a lot. Okay, so number 1, go online. Find a dealership that has your bike. Make sure they have availability, or find a few dealerships that have the bike that you want, okay? Once you get to wherever you're going in the United States, okay, start going to them or start calling them once you get like a US number or something, because usually they only have like a landline, and to call from a foreign country can be like super expensive. Okay, so once you get to the US, you get a US number, start calling them, make sure they have availability, go down, see the bike, make sure it's okay, give them the documentations that they need. For example, your license, your passport, and of course an address, okay? And pay for it. Get insurance for it, only Progressive insurance. Okay, nothing else but Progressive insurance. And remember to keep the registration going. If you want to like travel down to like Central America or South America, you need to have an ongoing insurance. So please, after like maybe if you're like staying in the US doing the road trip for the first 3 months, you can get like more comprehensive insurance while you're there physically. But after that, you could get like the cheapest insurance, like $100 over for a whole year, just to keep the registration going. Okay, so pay for that, and make sure like 1 or 2 months before like your registration expires, just go on to the DMV, just pay the fee to renew it, get it sent over to the address that you gave, get your friend or someone, whoever it is that who has provided you the address, to like mail it over to you, and make sure just use DHL or FedEx, okay? Priority expedited shipping is not worth it, like saving money on standard mail. I learned it through the hard lesson, okay? Like I think mail in like Mexico and Central America and South America, even though I haven't been to Central and South America, I think they wouldn't be too reliable. So using DHL would be like, or FedEx would be like your best bet. So just go do it. And if your trip lasts longer than 1 year, then 2, or like more than 2 years or more than 3 years, just keep doing and repeating this process. So that's how you do it. How you buy a bike as a foreigner in the US and keep it going, so you can travel legally, happily, stress-free all the way. Okay, I hope this video has been useful. I know I talk a lot, but I was just trying to like explain my experiences, because I've been through a lot and it was super stressful for me. You don't know how long I was like so worried about this because no one could like give me an answer. But right now I'm giving you guys an answer. This is how to do it. Just do it this way. Okay? And that's it. So if you like this video and you find it useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Gives me motivation to like create more content, and I'll see you in the next video.